right, we good? Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is the combined meeting of the council. It is April 16th, 2025, 6:08 PM. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brescher. Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you read adequate notice?
Long ones.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, and Desi Talk on November 24th, 2024, and posted in main lobby municipal complex on that same date.
Okay. Council President remarks. First, we are removing for tonight, we're tabling the ordinances 2247 and 2248. We're going to be tabling that until April 30th. And for 2249, we're also tabling that tonight, and we will, we're just...
Council President, actually, that one's going to be withdrawn from the administration.
Withdrawn, okay, all right. So that's the first order of business. Second order of business, that there's a change in the calendar for the meeting of June 11th, which is Wednesday, which was supposed to be a regular meeting, is being moved to June 12th, Thursday, and that is a combined meeting, you're
Yes, it
saying?
is.
Okay, so that will be a combined meeting on June 12th. So just mark that in your calendars. Some other events to share. Tomorrow, a very important event, the Yom HaShoah Holocaust Remembrance Event. That's at the JCC at 7 p.m. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, April 23rd. I'm sorry, this is next week, my mistake. Wednesday evening, April 23rd at 7 p.m. There will be survivors from the Holocaust in collaboration with the Metuchen Edison Area Interfaith Clergy Association, honoring survivors and their families, and pledge as a community to remember those who were lost and promise never to forget. So again, that's Wednesday evening, April 23rd at 7 p.m. at the JCC. Now we get on to a lot of public safety news. The fundraiser over at the Brownstone last week on a cold, rainy day actually was a tremendous success, especially considering the weather. There were 200 people who attended, and the best news is that they fulfilled the 2025 fundraising requirements for the team of 18 riders and 3 support staff who will be making the bicycle journey from Edison to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. Again, this May, to honor and remember all officers who have been killed in the line of duty. Some events around that. On May 9th, Team Edison Police will begin the 2025 mission with the second annual Edison Remembers Ride and ceremony to honor the 2 Edison police officers who were killed in our department's history. The Edison Remembers Ride is an Edison-only event, which our team will pass 16 township schools where the children will be outside to cheer us on. We will also stop at locations where our officers were killed for a moment of silence and to lay flowers. The day's ride will conclude as the team rides into the Edison Police Headquarters for a ceremony at the Police Memorial. We're scheduled to ride in the escorted helicopter flown by the New Jersey State Police Aviation Unit at 11:30. Then on May 10th, from the Franklin Police Department station, that's where everyone will be taking off, and they head to Baltimore. They head to Philadelphia for day 1. They go from Philadelphia to Baltimore for day 2, and then Baltimore to Washington, D.C. on day 3. So those are some events to keep in mind. Also, there is going to be an intro to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a cop for all middle school students. This will be at the Edison Public Safety Center on 205 Raritan Center Parkway in Edison. This will be every Thursday in May, so that's May 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. Then we have the This is the Guns and Hoses, I like that name, the Guns and Hoses basketball fundraiser. It's PBA Local 75 versus IAFF Local 1197 and 2883. That's May 30th, and that's $5 a ticket at the door at St. Matthew's, I believe. So that's May 30th for Guns and Hoses. And finally, I think that's finally, yes, Edison Police Department Junior Police Academy from August 4th to August 8th is going to be having from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at James Monroe Elementary School. And so this is for Edison residents, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, K-9 demonstration, trip to Newark Airport, State Police helicopter, Secret Service demonstration, drunk driving simulator, team building activities, forensics, and more. So that's August 4th to August 8th, and applications are due by July 25th, 2025. I believe that concludes Council President remarks. Let's go on to the resolution of recognition.
Whereas the Kiwanis Club of Edison was chartered by Kiwanis International on April 5th, 2005, with Dr. Douglas Lee as the first president. And whereas the club has been dedicated to improving the lives of children and families in Edison and surrounding communities through various service projects. The Kiwanis Club of Edison sponsors several service leadership programs, including key clubs at local high schools and the Atkins Club, which provides service opportunities for adults and with disabilities. Whereas the club actively supports the Hand of Hope Pantry, organizes events such as Halloween candy giveaways, coat and toy drives, stuffing Easter eggs, and food drives. The club also supports local initiatives such as National Night Out, Family Day, a toy drive, Middlesex County DCP&P, donations to Visions and Pathways, a program for the homeless teens. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Edison ensures that all funds raised are directly reinvested into the community with no administrative fees taken from donations. Whereas the members of the club have served leadership positions at the New Jersey District of Kiwanis International, including a committee chairs, lieutenant governor, and district governor. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Edison is recognized multiple times as a distinguished club, and its president and secretary has been honored as distinguished officers by Kiwanis International. Now therefore be resolved, the Edison Council of Edison congratulates and thanks the Kiwanis Club of Edison for outstanding service to the community and its dedication to improving the lives of those in need.
Thank you very much. Any remarks from the public? Yes, sir.
Joel Bassoff, Beach Lane, Edison. I'd like to urge the council to unanimously and enthusiastically approve that resolution. The famous French sociologist and historian Alexis de Tocqueville wrote in Democracy in America in 1835. He made this observation: Americans of all ages, all conditions, and all dispositions constantly form associations. If it is proposed to inculcate some truth or to foster some feeling by the encouragement of a great example, they form a society. As soon as several of the inhabitants of the United States have taken up an opinion or a feeling which they wish to promote in the world, they look out for mutual assistance, and as soon as they have found one another out, they combine. From that moment, they are no longer isolated, but a power seen from afar whose actions serve for an example and whose language is listened to. Nothing is more deserving of our attention than the intellectual and moral associations of America. If people are to remain civilized, the art of associating together must grow and improve in the same ratio in which the equality of conditions is increased. And from my observation, the Kiwanis exemplifies de Tocqueville's observation about America's proclivity to form organizations that benefit society. And Mr. Nagel exemplifies the Kiwanis commitment to public service. So I'm very proud as a resident of Edison. I know people who have benefited from the work that Kiwanis does. I'm proud and pleased to see that this organization is receiving the recognition it deserves. And I hope everyone will vote yes.
Thank you, Joel. Okay, all right. Anyone else from the public? Okay. Motion to close public portion?
Motion to close.
Second?
Seconded.
Thank you very much. Can we get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. Second.
All right, thank you very much. Can we hear from the council, any council comments.
Council President. So I know many members of the Kiwanis Club, and like Joel said, I think any association to create better community for Edison is a great thing, and thank you for all your work that you do.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. Anyone else?
Councilor
Any other
President?
comments? Yes, Councilman Patel.
I know, Steve Nagel for over a decade now, and his service and promoting the Kiwanis Club, which also serves the children and the communities at large. Fantastic job. I still remember every time we meet, you do ask about the expansion opportunity. That shows the community service is near and dear to your heart and your club as well. 20 years of selfless service is not an easy thing. Week over week, meeting probably in the Clara Barton section, educating people how to give back to the community is not an easy task. We know that we are all busy in our personal life, but finding the time for community and giving back to the community is a noble cause. And you are doing a wonderful job. All your members of Kiwanis Club, congratulations, and keep up doing the good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. Anyone else? Councilman Brescher?
I'm almost going to echo my council colleague, Mr. Patil. I guess I've known Steve. I was just thinking about how long I've known him. I don't know if it's been 20 years or 19 years or 21 years, but it has been a long time. You've been a great advocate for the community overall. I mean, just in so many different aspects. And the Kiwanis Club is really a great organization. I mean, it's one that's really just about giving. So listen, I commend the hard work that you do. I see what you're doing, and I appreciate everything that you and the whole Kiwanis Club does here for us and for our community here in Edison. So I'd like, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. For myself, I'm looking at some facts about Kiwanis, that it's found in more than 80 nations and geographic areas. In 1987, the organization began to accept women as members, hooray. The Kiwanis and its affiliated clubs have more than 600,000 members. They raise over $100 million each year and report over 18.5 million volunteer hours to strengthen communities and serve children. So yes, I echo what my council colleagues have said, and particularly directed to you, Steve Nagel, who would give the shirt, you'd give the shirt off your back to anyone, to friends, to anyone in need. And Kiwanis is so fortunate to have you with them and to have had you with them for so long. So thank you, congratulations, and let's move on to the presentation. All right. Oh, do we do that first? Oh, the roll call. Oh, okay, sorry.
Council President,
Yes, I'm sorry, Joe.
can I ask me?
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to congratulate you, Steve, and your great work, and all your, the people who are with you today, and the sacrifice you make to go to meetings, to create events. People think meetings and events are quickly done. They're not. It takes time. Nothing takes 5 minutes. I always tell the people that. And it's time away from your family, time away from something you may love doing. So thank you for the sacrifice you do. Steve's been a good friend to the community, a good friend of mine. Every year he volunteers with me once a year for an event we do at the chamber. We don't talk. We just meet at about 10 o'clock at night. I see him at that event once a year in March, and he's always here to help me. I think probably 10 years now he helps me at that event. And I don't even know if you get a free ticket. He pays for his ticket. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Councilman Coyle. All right, can we get to the roll call, please?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. All right, let us go on with the...
Oh,
Oh, well. Sam has no crown for himself or something.
All right. So it is my distinct pleasure to present this resolution to the Kiwanis Club, and with all the thanks and gratitude that we could possibly offer. It would not be enough, no matter how many people put in their thanks. But you do wonderful, wonderful work, and we are proud to present you with this resolution. All right, and thank you. Okay, we'll maybe take some signatures here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Would anyone like to say anything from the? Okay, good, good.
Thank you, John. Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, it is my pleasure to stand here and represent the members of the Kiwanis Club of Edison, 35 strong. Not all of them could make it tonight. A lot of them have other commitments. I'm especially proud to stand here representing our distinguished president, Lisa Errico. If Lisa can claim anything for her years as president of our club, Lisa was the driving force, along with Frank Cohen, behind our starting a club called an Action Club, which is a club for adults with disabilities. We have 21 adults over the age of 21 who would have no other opportunity to perform community service other than doing it through Kiwanis. So we have an entire organization built by adults with disabilities that their sole purpose is to improve the quality of other people's lives. Our proudest commitment is to our sponsored youth, our service leader programs. We have 5 key clubs we sponsor. The largest key club we sponsor is J.P. Stevens High School. It has over 240 students involved in it. They do thousands and thousands of service hours. And I always said if Kiwanis only existed for one reason and our service leader programs were it would be doing enough. We always want to do more. Since I have the power of the pulpit for the next 10 seconds, so Margot rips the microphone out of my hand. If there's any need in this community that our Kiwanis Club can help serve, please reach out to us at edisonkiwanis@gmail.com, and we will be happy to do what we can to help improve the quality of people's lives. On behalf of our council people, Council President Margot, thank you so much for this recognition and the opportunity for us to bring our Kiwanis story to our community.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so is it here? Is it here that I ask for a motion? All right. At what point will we motion?
This one, we don't even have, this is taken off
Right,
this
but what
session.
do we-
These are in the regular meeting.
In the regular meeting?
Yeah, we
Okay,
have to, we take a motion to table.
all right,
When we get to the regular meeting.
all right, so what do I do?
Want to leave them the phone?
All right. Councilman Brescher, had you wanted to make a comment about the removal of these ordinances?
Yes, so the question that I had was, they're on the agenda. What happened at the last moment that we had to pull them now? Like, if the administration knew that they wanted to pull these, why didn't they, what is the reason for pulling them, number one? And, it comes down to, is it that they are afraid they didn't have the votes? And that's an honest answer, and that's an acceptable answer also. But I'd like to know what they are, because some of these items, and where I say with that is, it's kind of inconvenient, right? You give us this stuff, you expect us to look at it, you expect us to, spend time on it, and then to pull it at the last moment, as opposed to, to pull all 3 tells me something's up, something doesn't look right. If you pulled one, maybe you didn't have data, right? I get it, but why pull all 3?
Okay.
I can address that if
Okay.
you like, Councilor. Yeah, I think you're, Councilman Brescher, you're pretty much on point. I believe that, yes, Councilman Pointer and Councilman Schmuel could not be here this evening. They very much wanted to be able to cast their votes with regard to these ordinances. So in that, they had requested of the administration and of the council president, ultimately, that they be held until a meeting so that everyone on council would have an opportunity to vote, not just the few who are here this evening. So that's it. So to your, I think you pretty much hit it on the head. We're seeking a fuller governing body to make this decision on these particular ordinances.
So then let me ask you a question, Counselor. I had council president that has been texting me, right, quite often during the week to say, am I going to be able to come to the meeting because we might have a problem with a quorum, right? So obviously we knew that those two council members weren't here like a week ago, we knew. They just decided that they wanted to do this 15 minutes ago? That's my question.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know when they decided, and I don't, because I was only advised of it today, and asked, and so they asked me procedurally, okay, what can we do? What can we do if council members really want to have their vote cast, they're not here? I said, the only thing we can do is there would have to be, the governing body, you would have to vote to table this to a meeting at a date so that all of your council members could vote on it. But ultimately, if it's a first reading, the administration can pull it. They have that right. If it's a second reading, this body must decide. So ultimately, I think there will be a motion to table. You could very well vote against that motion to table.
No, I give that courtesy to the administration. I mean, that courtesy doesn't get traveled down backward, but I'm not a child. So yes, I would give them that courtesy.
Okay.
I'm just wondering why we waited until the last possible second.
That I can't
Is it
answer, I'm
because the
sorry.
council people, they themselves that aren't here, they mysteriously woke up this morning to tell the administration? That's where I'm going with it. It just seems very mysterious that you're going to pull all three ordinances, and you're pulling them at the last minute. Because I think you knew that maybe you didn't have the votes, and that's an answer, and I like that answer, and I would actually vote for you to table it. Because, right, some of these I wouldn't be voting for.
Sure.
So being an adult, right, I would give you the opportunity to have them here. But I would just like an honest answer, if there's any way possible of getting it. Or the honest answer was just, those council people woke up this morning, they called the administration, and they said they'd really like to vote on it. That's I guess,
That is the
statement.
answer. I don't know when that took place, but all I can
Okay.
tell you is that the council members who aren't here did want to have an opportunity to vote.
All right, thank you, Counselor.
All right, moving on to number 8, review of the minutes. Any council comments? Seeing none, let's go to number 9, Department of Finance, A and B. Any comments or questions? All right, seeing none. Number 10, Department of Health, A through E. Questions, comments? Okay. Number 11, Department of Planning and Engineering, A and B. Questions, comments?
Yes,
Yes.
this is 11, the A, which is the construction, the road improvements. This is for us to sign off because the project's been done for like 2 years, correct?
Not quite. We're just wrapping up the final payment, correct?
It's final payment. for it.
Final payment, not the maintenance bond, which you're referring to
Okay.
separately.
Okay, does the public get the opportunity to get a list of the roads that were given the final payment on?
Sure, this is for 23. We can provide that to you.
But I mean, can we just put it on the website so the public can see it?
Sure.
Because you know why? If the public looks at it and they say that there's some deficiencies or whatever it is, it'll make them aware so they could contact the administration, and then it's not missed, when the bond and that is up. That'd be it. Thank you,
Okay,
Council
thank
President.
you. Anyone else for 11A or B? Okay, number 12 from the Department of Public Works, A through C.
Council
Yes.
President. Yes, B and C. The upgrades to the municipal building and the rejecting of bids for HVAC, infrastructure upgrades. Let me ask a question. Why are we rejecting the bids? What did you find that you didn't like in the bids themselves?
So with regard to the rejection of the bids, it's not anything that we didn't particularly like. Rather, they were non-conforming. They were non-responsive to the bid package. So in the first one that we're rejecting, the price page, which is required under the bid package, wasn't included. So that would make it non-responsive to the bid. And the second one, the second HVAC to the senior building, the price actually exceeds the amount that we've budgeted. So procedurally, we are required to come to council to reject the bid so that we can then go back, rebid this, and see what kind of responses we get.
Okay, and the reason why I ask this is, this goes back to, I mean, it's good that we're taking another look at it, right? Get that. But we were talking about like a construction manager. And when we were talking about that, those were people that were employed or brought on board to give you advice or give the engineers advice into the direction of an HVAC system. And where I go with that is like your HVAC system here, you could design an HVAC system for this entire building, and you could design two, and one would be $2 million more. I don't know that the administration would know the difference between those two, the one that was $2 million more and the one that was $2 million less. And if they did, they might choose to go with the one that was less. But under the same token, the other one that's $2 million more, maybe that would be something that the administration would want to spend the money on because they feel there's value. But without that person to kind of, I'm going to call it, drive the engineering or architectural aspect of it, what happens is you end up getting whatever the engineer is looking for, which could be a Ferrari when maybe you don't need one of them for a lunchroom or something. So I think it's a good idea for you to bring somebody on board that has that knowledge overall. I know that my council colleague was proposing something for like $5 million, but you can actually hire a firm that you could work with, like you do an architect and engineer over the course of a year, where they could help you during that design stage before you go to the architect. They'll help you actually with your design. So I'm glad to see that's pulled. I would hope to see that maybe you go down that road before you just rebid it and come up with something else, but that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Anyone else on 12? Okay, on to 13, Department of Recreation, A through D. A through D. All right.
Wait, oh,
Yep.
you didn't look long enough.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Event services,
Which one is that, Councilman?
D.
Okay.
We're not going to do events. I guess we're going to do events still, right? We just didn't like the pricing.
So again, the rejection of these bids was due to non-conforming paperwork that they were supposed to provide to us. So we're required, again, under the law to reject it and then go back out.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. And number 14, any questions or comments about A?
Yeah, I actually think she's awesome. She's been here quite some time. Anything that you can ask for, she jumps and gets. Actually exceptional. So I thank you for her service here. Thank you.
This is actually my favorite resolution on the whole agenda, I have to say, yeah.
Council President?
Yes.
Yeah, I think whenever she answers the phone, she's always happy, and whatever you give her something, she's always ecstatic to do it. So I'm so happy to have you in the township. Thank you, Marlene.
You're here.
Council President,
Councilman Patil.
I don't think I need to ask anything or say anything more than what my council colleague said, but Marlena, you're a wonderful person, always helpful to all the council members. You keep politics aside, but always there when we reach out and you give the fair treatment. You're wonderful. I would say that you are one of the best employee of Edison Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. All right, we move on to the regular meeting. So we start with the approval of the minutes. Can we get a motion to approve?
To approve?
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. All right, so we do need, we need a motion to table the ordinances 2247
The
and
table
2...
2247.
Yeah, didn't I just say that?
Motion to table?
Yeah.
Motion to table on 227.
Oh, 2247,
We have to
okay.
call them individually.
Right, okay, all right.
Who's seconding that?
Second was Councilman Patil, all right. And you need a roll call for that? Mm-hmm. Okay,
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
yes. Okay. And so this will be tabled until the meeting of April 30th. Now on to the ordinance 2248. Can we get a motion to table that
Motion
one?
to
until-
table?
Okay,
Until April 30th.
until April 30th, thank you. Yeah. And was that you, Councilman Patel? Okay, all right, so we had the motion to table from Councilman Patil and second Councilman Patel. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer. Council President Harris.
Yes, all right, thank you. Okay.
Council President?
Yes.
Could I just clarify? I thought the dates changed and there was one meeting, which was the 28th. It was a combined meeting, or is it
No,
not
we have two, the
two
regular, yeah, the regular schedule.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
Sure, okay. All right, now we move to public comment on the resolutions. This is on the resolutions only. Yes, sir.
I just want to make a comment on Resolution 177, 042025, the reappointment of Marlena. I agree with everybody. Marlena's wonderful. I've dealt with her as a member of the public. When I filed my tort claim, she was very helpful, helping me fill out the official form. And I just want to say that, from what I can tell, I think she does a great job, and I support that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Joel?
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane, Edison. Regarding Resolution 177, my experience has been whenever I've asked for anything or needed anything, Ms. McCrae has responded cheerfully. She's responded cheerfully, promptly, with courtesy, and with professionalism, so I heartily endorse the approval of Resolution 177. My only quibble would be, sometimes I get the sense that when I speak, she speeds up the clock, but some people might consider that a public service. Now, I have a question about Resolution 170. That's $113,000 for custodial supplies. And I'm just wondering, like, what time periods does that cover? Like, how often do we go through that amount of custodial supplies? Is that a month's worth, 3 months' worth? What would that cover?
All right. Sonia, do you have an answer to that? So that's, his question is on 170 about the custodial supplies for $113,000. What time period does that cover?
That would typically cover the year.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Joyce?
Okay, Joyce Freeman, Edison, New
To
Jersey.
the microphone, Joyce? Thank you.
Taller people were before me. The reappointment of Marlena McCrae, and I think it's great. I think she's a good person, but what I like about it is that the leadership they have in the office makes you better, because you learn from the people that have the job ahead of you. So I think that's good. I think it's very great that we're applauding Marlena McCrae, and I think that she really deserved the deputy municipal clerk, but I think that her and the clerk together make the office that much better. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Liz?
Now I can move it up. Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I would be completely out of place if I didn't say something about Marlena. Just look at that face and the smile. She's always there when we have a question. She always gets back to you with an answer. She always sends you in the right direction, and she proves to be one of the most constant that we have in this administration, and I applaud you, Marlena. The second thing was a little disturbing, and I just want to bring it up. When the lawyer came up with excuses to Mr. Brescher regarding why the
sorry.
Excuse me, the speaker is out of order.
Yeah, this is on the resolutions only. You can do this in public
is-
comment
that's not
later.
one
No,
of
that was
those?
that was an ordinance. That was based on an ordinance.
back.
Okay. All right, anyone else from the public?
Motion to close the,
Oh, well, no, well, come on, Anthony.
sorry, Councilman.
Anthony DeAmron, regarding that ordinance for Marlena. Yeah, she's really good. She's pretty good. She is. They're all good actually in there. So I applaud you. This is I hope it doesn't hurt your chances here by me doing that, endorsing. So good luck. And I'll see you. I'll come back.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else from the public? Okay, we can get a motion to close?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
Okay. So we go on to the proposed resolutions. Are there any resolutions that council members want to pull?
Council President,
Yes,
177.
77. Oh, that one again. All right. Okay, anyone else? Okay, all right, so we are going to vote on 161 through 176. So Councilman Coyle, what are your remarks and comments about 177?
I just want to pull for a separate vote. And I want to make
What's that
comments.
on the- Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I thought we do the, whatever is pulled first. Okay.
No.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Agenda first.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to approve 161 through 176?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. Councilman Coyle, what say you?
Well, I just can't help but to make a few comments, not to use just one word like my fellow colleague, awesome, and nothing else. But I call her a lot, and like people have mentioned, she always has the same attitude every time. And if people are not aware, at the clerk's office, they are handling a lot of different calls. They're acting as a receptionist sometimes. I think about 15 years ago, we had someone downstairs who answered the phones, and they probably get most of the phone calls directing people to different departments. But they also handle all the election stuff at different times of the year. It is super busy, and I call there during this super busy season. So I get a little bit of a quietness, but she says, absolutely, Councilman, I'll get back to you. And she has excellent follow-up skills. I think she treats everybody neutral in that whoever calls, same for the clerk. And I am so happy to see that she wants to continue working here and not retire in Florida or do something in Nevada or Arizona. But thank you, and I do appreciate the fact you are neutral when I call. And I know there could be a smirk behind the phone there that I don't see, but she always gets back to me. And I know it's for a lot of people on this council as well. So thank you. Motion to approve. Motion.
Wait, I have something to
Oh,
say.
I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know. You made comments.
Okay. So, yeah, I just want to add that Marlena, during my entire 3.5 years here on council, has been nothing but a pleasure to work with. And just even walking in, and she brings a smile to your face, just even saying hello. So I can't say enough about her, and of course the entire clerk department, especially under the very difficult circumstances with which they're working and being shorthanded. But they're getting it done, and I am thrilled to be a part of this reappointment for you. So now we can get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Council President.
Seconded.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. On to oral, we don't have no communications, so on to oral petitions and remarks. Anybody? I didn't see. Yes, ma'am. State your name and address, please.
My name is Samita Bari, and address?
Yes, please.
92 Prestwick Way, Edison, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council. I'm Samita Bari, and I'm a freshman at J.P. Stevens High School here in Edison. In the 4 minutes that I speak to you today, you will hear my voice as one that speaks on behalf of an entire generation that is terrified of inheriting a planet where nature is further degraded and where we inhale plastic with every breath. We urge the Edison Town Council to join Metuchen, Franklin Township, Essex County, and many other towns to pass a resolution endorsing the ACR 119 and SCR 43, known as the New Jersey Green Amendment, which has the following wording and another paragraph. Every person has a right to a clean and healthy environment, including pure water, clean air, a safe climate, ecologically healthy habitats, and to the preservation of the natural and scenic qualities of the environment. The state shall not infringe upon these rights. The state's natural resources, among them its waters, air, flora, fauna, climate, and public lands, are the common property of all people, including both present and future generations. The state shall serve as trustee of these resources and shall conserve and maintain them for the benefit of all people. This is not a radical idea. It is the bare minimum. The Green Amendment isn't about politics. It's about ensuring that every person has the basic right to prevent pollution in their backyards, a right, not a luxury. Yes, I know there are environmental regulations out there that do protect us, but the Green Amendment offers protection at the highest level, the state constitution. Rules and regulations can be rolled back with nothing more than a signature. Think about that. Our trees, our lungs, gone with a stroke of a pen. Prioritizing the environment is so important now. Microplastics from the air and water are already in our blood, our organs, and even in babies. Sperm counts are declining, climate change is accelerating, and biodiversity is plummeting. Are we really saying that we have the right to bear arms, but not the right to breathe fresh air? Growing up in Edison in the Garden State should reflect a childhood filled with hope, health, and peace of mind, not disease, inhalers, and boil water advisories. I'm here speaking on behalf of fellow friends and students and others that are tired of being paralyzed, watching protections being sacrificed. The New Jersey Student Sustainability Coalition, which I'm a member of, it has been working to build support for the Green Amendment constantly for over 5 years. This amendment will bring people out to vote and will be popular in New Jersey. In New York, their Green Amendment was passed by over 70% of voters. Let's allow our residents to vote on whether a healthy environment is a constitutional right as well. Edison is cleaner thanks to the efforts of this council and many others. But this is the time for you to show that you care about New Jersey's youth and wildlife. Ultimately, we are the generation that is growing up with a constant fear of environmental destruction. We are the generation that learns about climate disasters in classrooms and walks out to find them at our doorstep. Show us that you will take bold action now when it matters most. Make this the moment where Edison leads by example, where you choose to stand for the people, for the future, and for the right to a healthy environment by endorsing the New Jersey Green Amendment. Thank you so much for listening.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher, go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to thank you for coming up here. I actually find you a breath of fresh air, to be quite honest with you. And I'm going to tell you why. I've spoken up here numerous times. I've spoken to the county. I've written letters to our commissioners when they go to build the plastic fields that they allow you to play on. So we build these turf fields now, and the turf fields, all they're doing is leaching that plastic back into the environment. I mean, the simple task for us to do is to go back to regular grass fields. I argued at J.P. Stevens about your baseball field. You have a turf field. I argued at Edison High for a turf field. You can put drainage in and make a great field. We're building all plastic fields at the county now. Your voice, you need to raise your voice, because I think very few of the council people up here have been vocal about the plastic fields that have been going on. But it's people like you, it's you, the young people. You have to speak up. If you don't speak up, the other elected officials won't listen. I think if you guys were all here when we were approving the plastic field for the Jets and you would have explained it, they probably would have had a grass field. So you guys are doing a great job of bringing awareness, but do me a favor, don't stop. You have more energy than I do at your age, so keep it up. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes.
if we can get a copy of 119, perhaps we can have an opportunity to discuss that in committee and have you review that. This is a assembly resolution?
Yes.
Yeah, if there's I'm just to Councilman Coyle's point, I've seen this particular resolution in other municipalities, and if they would like to provide whatever copy they have to the legal department, we can have it on, as soon as possible, next meeting, if you want. Yeah.
Well, I'm in support, Council President, when you decide.
Thank you very much.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Patel?
I'm in favor to support this, and to Samita, thank you for coming and speaking for your generation. I think we have these benefits through plastics that we take and we take the cost of it for granted. We all use the plastic bottles, and we are all using plastics every day in our lives, but there is a cost to it, and the future generation is going to pay for it, even though we might not. And I think it's important that we factor in that cost now, and we take action now to ensure that the future generation does not pay for it, even though it's going to cost a little bit in terms of everybody buying metal bottles, hopefully. But I am in full support and hope we can get this as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Patel?
Council President, thank you for coming and speaking passionately. I know this issue is near and dear to your heart, and thank you for educating this council as well. We learned quite a few things. We all know the plastic is bad, but no one is willing to recognize and act on it. And the students like you come forward, you educate people. I'm pretty sure that's why we say there is a light at the end of the tunnel. This is Edison. Again, thank you. And any of those resolutions that come here, I will be in fully support of that. Thank you.
Council President, just 30
Yes.
seconds. I thought your comments were well-written, well done. I heard every word you said, and what a great job. I thought my colleague was going to say he wasn't as good as a speaker as you were at your age and your time, and this was decades ago when he spoke here in the 60s. But you did a phenomenal job, and a lot of courage to get to the microphone and speak clearly without being nervous. So great job, really wonderful.
Thank you. Sarita, I'm just blown away by your maturity and the ability for you to speak as eloquently and with such passion as you did. And you can see that you have the full and enthusiastic support of this council. And I would say also, in your advocacy for a brighter future for the humans on this earth, I think you're also ensuring a very bright future ahead for yourself. So thank you so much for presenting as you did. Okay. All right. Yes, Diana.
Is this yours? Is this somebody's here? Diana Jaffe, 86 Laurel Hollow Court. I would like to address Councilman Patel through the chair, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Councilman Patel, several months ago, Councilwoman Ship Freeman got up and congratulated you for some award that you gave to somebody, I'm not sure what it was, concerning South Asian women who are victims of domestic violence. I was interested in that, and I came up to speak to you. You gave me a card. You said to call you. I tried to contact you at least twice with no communication back from you. So I would have rather done this privately, but since I haven't heard from you, I have to come publicly. So I would like to know what this group is who deals with women of domestic violence, victims of domestic violence, because we have a domestic violence team in Edison, and they're the ones who vet these organizations before they send women or men to these places where you can help them. So those are the questions I had to ask you.
I did not want to ask you publicly. I'm asking that you contact me or speak with me privately, or you can do it publicly. But I really would appreciate you telling me who these people are who are sending these women to these places.
Thank you, Council President, if I
Yes.
can.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ms. Jaffe, coming here. I know you tried contacting me, but I do not represent any organization, any official capacity that deals with domestic violence. If someone reach out to me specifically about this concern, I don't really participate in the per se the case, but I do refer them to the people that I know around who can help them. The whole idea of the group or the people who we acknowledge for their commitment to resolve some of these issues are not really on domestic violence, but about mitigating the family-related issues, which could turn into domestic violence. So the whole idea of that group is more of soothing the relationship within a family by talking to both the sides of the houses and all that. And possibly if they want to go to the other extent, then they do refer it to the other organization. If you'd like me to introduce to that group, I'll be happy to do that. But I will have to reach out to those folks who are involved, and especially this is more in the South Asian community, to be very specific and to be very honest with you. Happy to connect with those guys, but I need to talk to them before I can connect with you.
Okay, I appreciate that. You understand that there is a
Council
vetting.
President.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry, there is no back and forth. The speaker is supposed to ask all
Oh,
of
I'm
her
sorry.
questions.
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
a
are you going to
minute.
gavel them down?
Excuse
See,
me,
he's screaming
sir.
out, yeah.
Sir, please.
So, Council President, and just so I'm aware of the rules, the questions were asked, the councilman responded. Now there's engaging in a back and forth. What I recommend is that there is a time after the meeting. It seems that the speaker did want to have an off the record conversation. Might be best served that they do that afterwards instead of having the back and forth publicly.
And that's all I wanted to know is that when I
Okay.
speak with him
Yes.
about this,
Yes.
I don't want to have
Yes,
this back
yeah,
and
so
forth.
Diana, you can do this certainly offline after the meeting.
That's what I need to know.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay,
That's
thank
fine.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir.
The first thing I want to say is, my name is Paul. I'm Bong Holio, also known as the Social Justice Water Pipe. Dave, what you should have done is you should have said before that, Mr. Patil, wait, let the speaker finish, or you should have asked the speaker, are you done? So that was incorrect what you did. And you know better. Come on, Dave. You know better than that. So I didn't like that. That I didn't like to say. It's been a couple weeks since we've had a meeting, and well, I want to mention a couple weeks ago, I was here at Borough Hall to try to have an appointment with the mayor, and he was a little upset. It was a little discouraging what happened because I rang the bell, no one came. Somebody else came, rang the bell. Finally, the police were sent out. I never got to speak with Matty. Was there? He was one of the guys, and he's always respectful. I was actually glad to see him. He's always been good. But I couldn't even speak to anybody from like the office, and I'm pretty sure that intercom, you can speak through that intercom and just say, I mean, if the mayor's busy, the mayor's busy. I understand, but I couldn't even get anybody from the office to. In fact, when the internal affairs officer came out and the chief came out, they said, "Oh, he's not going to want to talk to you." So, well, can you at least ask? I don't know why they were even doing that job, but it seemed like the atmosphere of the office was like nobody wanted to ask him. I don't know what that was all about. As I was making my way to the mayor's office, I walked past all of the pictures on the wall where there used to be artwork. And this is a public hallway, and it has all these pictures of the mayor. I don't understand how that happened. Did the council have any sort of say over that? And I happen to notice that Councilman Richard Brescher is not on any of those photos. How come he doesn't have a fair FaceTime? I mean, does anybody think that's okay? That's a public hallway. To remove artwork? I mean, you guys tried to ban my creative expression during the most national tragedy, huge mistake, banning expression, artistic expression. Now we take down the art to put up pictures of the mayor without one of the councilmen on it? That's absurd. That is so absurd. I want to give a shout out to San Joaquin Valley Transparency for highlighting my a video where I had to restore order back to the meeting when Joe cut me off 3 times in a row, which he still never apologized for. Right now, there's only 2 members here who participated in that ban, and like I said last time, Mr. Patel, he at least apologized, and I thanked him for doing that. Somebody said to me, you know, Joe should really apologize for what you did. I laughed. It was a resident who said this. I laughed. He hasn't even apologized to the residents for the mistake that he made. Never apologized. And I'd like to give him an opportunity tonight to apologize to these residents, because when you make a mistake, you're supposed to apologize. I didn't expect an apology for that, but I think the residents, Russ, I think the residents deserve an apology. So I'd like to know if Joe's willing to do that for the residents.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm. No, I'm going to let this gentleman. I did not see her, but I will get to her. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, President Harris. Hi, I'm Alok Sood. Good evening, everyone. I was here about a month ago on 3/12 regarding the bamboo ordinance and the multiple notices, violations that I received. And everyone here agreed that I shouldn't have received those violations. They do not apply to me. Even the attorney confirmed that, and it's all recorded. It's all there. And now today, I received a certified mail saying that, again, it's saying failure to prevent the spread of bamboo plants to adjoining property. So I don't know, I mean, where all this is coming from. At that point, I was thinking I'm being targeted. Now I feel I'm being harassed. And I mean, where is it going after this? I mean, if this is going on, I'm coming here a few times. Next, I think I may be retaliated against. So I don't know, I mean, I hope the council can help me with all this stuff and can take care of it. All of us were here that day. It's all recorded. The attorney said it. Mr. Pointer also clarified everything. And it was said that it's all grandfather. So I don't know why I'm being harassed now. And again, as a resident also, I don't think it's a good use of resources and time, right? I mean, I got multiple notices. And the thing is, the notices I received them even before the ordinance was approved, which is very efficient on township's part, because normally when you call them and it takes time to get a response back. And this time the ordinance hasn't even passed. And there's someone, I mean, 2 people at my doorstep, I mean, giving me notices and violations, even before it passed. So I know last time I was told it's not targeted, but I don't know what it is now. So I'll appreciate if you guys can help resolve this issue.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. As you know, Mr. Sood, I had forwarded this to the various people who might be able to resolve this issue. Do we know where this stands since I sent out those emails today? Sonia, do you have any information?
Council President, I want to be mindful and respectful of any complaints that we do receive, which we have in this instance. The township did not make the complaint, I can certainly say that, but we did receive a complaint from the outside, and I can't really discuss further unless the attorney thinks otherwise. It now has to go through the process, so.
And when we say process, Counselor?
If there's a code violation, that means there's a pending complaint, whether it be brought by the township. I'm assuming in this case it's not by the township.
No.
It's by an individual, potentially a neighbor, I'm guessing. We aren't a party to that, and we can't really speak on that because that's a pending litigated matter that has to play itself out in municipal court. So I'm certain that that you as speaker will have an opportunity to make your case to the judge. And that will be the appropriate forum to explain why you aren't in violation of any local ordinances. But this council can't help you.
The council said last time, even the attorney said last time, I'm not in violation. It's recorded. So why am I?
Well,
I have
then
to
you
go
should,
through
you
this
should take
process?
that, if you heard that from somebody, you should take that to the judge and say, Judge, I'm not guilty,
But why do I have to waste my time on this thing when I'm not even in violation?
because
Mr.
we didn't bring the charges.
Mr. Sood, if this was brought from outside, from a neighbor or whomever, then this is going to have to go through its process. There's nothing that we can do until it goes through the process.
I understand, but the process is.
Council President, I was just going to address that. I mean, if we're not going to allow back and forth for other people in the room, we have to at least take this offline.
Thank you.
I think the subject is important, but we can't have one not follow the other. Thank you.
You're correct.
I guess if I could just say just
so,
one-
Mr. Sood, I think in conclusion, unfortunately, it appears that this is going to have to go through the process, and that this is not something that was done by the township to target you. It sounds like it was done at the behest of a neighbor, and so this has to then go through the due process. So you can certainly ask to have a further offline discussion with our counselor about this, but for now, that's all that we can say about it.
I understand. I
I'm sorry,
understand
sir.
it's a neighbor, but the
I'm
thing
sorry.
is-
I'm sorry, sir. Your time is up.
Council President,
Yes.
before you call, I just want to make the comment that, this gentleman did come to the last council meeting. We had extensive discussion that he is not targeted. This notice was incorrect, what was provided to him. Administration, corrected that. Attorney on the dais said, hey, you're not targeted, and we all understand. However, now the someone says that this is a result of the notice that was sent, which we all agreed that it was not sent in a proper way. So my question to attorney here is, this is insane. This is not a fair treatment to the resident. Before even the ordinance was passed, we are talking about the summons here. What I would say here is, either we can't have the resident go to the court and prove that, hey, this is what the council and everybody discuss, and now the judge has to you have to understand his mindset, the stress level, I would not use the word harassment, but this is, it's going that route. What my ask there is, in the question to attorneys, if I make a complaint about my neighbor, will you send a summons to him straight? That would trigger the civil war in the township. We cannot afford to do that. There has to be first notice, second notice, have them deal with the zoning department or the health department, talk to them, review the ordinance, show to the resident. There has to be some courtesy back and forth. In fact, the reason I'm talking about this matter is because this happened in the middle of our ordinance passage. Yes, we do have an old ordinance, but again, we were trying to clarify there, and now, and you can probably Mr. Dill also know that, when there was a conversation saying, hey, zoning officer didn't stop there, and I said, I have the video, I can share, and I did share with all the council colleagues. And that time we said, hey, let's not talk about this. He's not targeted. We have the set process. His situation is grandfathered. Probably we can discuss that more offline. But hey, he's getting the registered letter. I don't know whether that communication did not go back to the health department, what happened on this dais, or that did not go to the zoning department. I don't know who sent the summons. That should have happened, and the resident doesn't have to come here and explain, what he's going through. So my ask here is very simple. If I complain tomorrow about my neighbor, will you send him a summons for something that probably he is not of guilty, or there is not even a legitimate reason? That's my question to you.
I don't know. I don't run the code department, so I can't tell you what code would do in those circumstances.
Okay, then that question will be to the.
So, if I could clarify, so I just want to correct your statement. So we had the meeting, and it was discussed between zoning and health, in fact, addressed this particular issue. After the meeting, there was a new complaint, and so it is addressing a new complaint. Again, I cannot go into the specifics of a complainant and what they're saying, but if our folks are receiving calls, just I'm explaining to you the procedure. We do go out and take a look. If they're in violation, yes, a summons or a warning may be issued. Initially would be a warning, but that is the process. Now, if they're not in violation, there's nothing to issue.
Okay. I think, again, if I keep talking about this, I'll talk for an hours. If the meeting happened and hopefully they all understood the ordinance that was passed by this body, if they would have listened to what attorney said about grandfathering, I think he would have received the first warning after that rather than a summons. Because what he received the first warning was way before even we were talking about this ordinance. The process should have restarted rather than carrying from the prior one. And I know where the issue landed up about his particular property, but he's not just one. You will see hundreds of those complaints, and we will, that word I use, it's a civil war. People will start complaining about each other, and then you will say, okay, send them a summons and let the court decide. It's not a way to administer.
Councilman, when this body adopts a policy, it is our responsibility to execute it. And if we are not responsive to that, then we clearly aren't following our own ordinances, and that simply what was the procedure that was followed.
Okay, if that's the case, through Council President, I'm going to send you at least 100 of those complaints which are not grandfathered, about the fences, about the illegal construction, about many, many things, and let's see if you want to send them a summons. Thank you, Council President.
Council President. I wasn't a big fan of this ordinance when we were discussing it, although I supported it, the council was in favor. But it's always been customary that if you have an issue with your property line, whether it's a tree or bamboo, it would be a civil matter to discuss in court. So the fact that we're involved now, I guess through the council here, as it grows case by case, it may be an opportunity that we repeal the entire ordinance and just leave it in the civil matter. So, I mean, it's one more thing our zoning officer's going out there for. I mean, I do agree with you, but then I don't know your neighbor either and how much they don't like the situation. But either way, if we weren't involved, the civil court would be involved. If your bamboo was growing across their backyard into their pool area and causing some type of infrastructure issue, it'd be a civil matter. So case by case, I hope we have a chance to look at this later. But this is one right now. Let's see how it grows. Thank you, Council President.
All right, thank you. In the back? Yes.
I'm here to just restate what my friend just said, and I'm Tanishka, and I'm also a freshman at JP Stevens. And first of all, thank you so much for taking action towards endorsing the New Jersey Green Amendment. We really appreciate it. And this is really important because our planet is in trouble, and the signs are everywhere. Climate change is speeding up, more species are disappearing, and toxic forever chemicals are showing up in our water and soil. And that's why it's so important for us to take the lead and pass the Green Amendment. If we do, we can help protect our environment. And now and for our future generations, people in 15 other states are also working to pass the Green Amendment. And let's be the state to set the example and show the country what real environmental leadership looks like. We also emailed you the Green Amendment too, so you can take a look at it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Tom.
Good evening, Thomas Leckie, Netherwood Circle. I noticed a safety issue at John Adams Middle School. Apparently, I guess with, Board of Ed member here, maybe he can also take this back. I guess they put a new gas main, it appears like a gas main, right at the curve of New Dover Road. And with the curb not being that high, it appears it would be very easy for a car to jump the curb, go right through it, and take out the gas main. Spectacular explosion. Kids will be off from school for a while if it happens during the school year. So I think that somebody needs to go back and do a site assessment, and put some bollards around that to prevent it from being hit by a car or a truck or a vehicle hopping the curb on a snowy road or what have you. I think that needs to be addressed. Secondly, there's a stop sign. I don't know who has jurisdiction on Grove Avenue between New Dover and Inman Avenue, but about 100 feet, I want to say, to the south of McKinley Avenue, for months there's been a mangled speed limit sign. The post is bent over, and it's just a couple inches off the ground. I don't know who replaces that. Is it the township's responsibility? Is it a county road? Who needs to take care of that? Because that stuff like that shouldn't. I, as a resident, shouldn't pick that up. Police cruising, on their rounds, the different departments. They should note that down, bring it back, and it should be addressed. It should. I've been holding off speaking about this only because I wanted to see if it would get attention, but apparently it doesn't. Lastly, yesterday around 10 o'clock in the morning, I was coming down Churchill Road, which is right across from the Inman driving range. Car in front of me didn't even stop, pulled right out onto Inman, made a left on Inman, across the traffic and all. There was a police cruiser parked in the parking lot of the Inman driving range, facing towards Inman Avenue. Nothing happened. We need to get a grasp on all these violations. Like I said many times before, red lights are just a suggestion. I've talked with the deputy chief. He said we can't be everywhere all the time, and I agreed with him. But this was a prime example. There was a police cruiser there, and the person just, all disregard, pulled out in front of somebody just to be able to get down Inman Avenue towards Grove, which I eventually came out and I was behind him at the light. So we need to step up our police presence, or what we need to do is we need to say, okay, let's save some money on our municipal budget and only drive around when we get calls, because and save some money on fuel costs. Being a little sarcastic, but we need to start picking up our police presence and making sure that offenders get held their feet to the fire. Thank you.
Thank you. With regard to the mangled traffic sign, is that a Department of Transportation issue?
Oh, we'll certainly take a look at that if that's engineering or traffic division.
Okay.
I would have to look at the actual intersection, see what's going on there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay.
President?
Yes.
I do agree with what the previous speakers just said, that I believe we should work as a cohesive unit to capture all these violations rather than individual departments saying, hey, this is not my responsibility, this is not my responsibility. I'm pretty sure someone has driven on that road and someone has seen that traffic sign or whatever the violation may be. And if we can all be vigilant and all say, hey, you know what, if we all take a little bit, there's a saying in India where if everyone picks up one rock, the road will be cleaner. So if there is something that each one of us can do, especially if we're doing our work throughout the town, this is the town's work. So I think that is something we should maybe implement as a policy. I'm not sure where that would start, but I do agree with what he said, that maybe we should all work as a cohesive unit. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yes, sir.
Council President, did we get the exact address of the stop sign that is down?
Yes.
And so we can just have DPW
Yeah,
go
if you can
tomorrow?
provide that.
I have the intersection, Grove, Inman, and New Dover.
Not that he's not aware of it, but our system has the Q alert.
Q alert, correct.
I know we
And
solved
certainly,
over
yes.
1,000 complaints last year. on Q
I'd
alert.
certainly recommend that if there are any infractions that are, dealing with public works, for instance, or roads, using the Q alert, it's on the front face of the website. Or email the administration. Certainly want to make sure we take care of something like that.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I wanted to know why you had the high school girl give her address. I mean, there's kids here. I don't think, they should be able to, they should have to give their address. Maybe you should say like, oh, you don't have to give your address, but you guys always want it. That's the same reason he doesn't like to give his name. I don't like to give my address. I have 3 kids at home. People might retaliate. People might want to follow her home. Who knows? You know what I mean? So I'm here tonight to call out the absolute bullshit going down in this council. Let's start off with the disgraceful incident involving Christo and the business administrator. She didn't just file a false police report. She fucking lied under oath. And what did the assholes do? You covered it up. You dumped over $100,000 of taxpayer money to try and silence Christo and keep him out of these meetings. All planned behind closed doors like the shady, gutless cowards you are, thinking no one would find out, but we did. Shame on you, Harris. Just like Nish Patel, you'll never be forgiven for betraying the very principles this country is built on. And Brescher, Patel, you sat there in silence and didn't say anything while the First Amendment was getting dragged through the mud. That makes you complicit. You saw it, you know it happened. What's the saying? See something, say something. So here's your moment. Speak up. You watched as your Blue Line gang was called to remove me multiple times for simply trying to play the meeting minutes or read a public report. I tried to be being respectful. I reached out to Harris, Brescher, and even Patel, and guess what? None of you guys, exactly, crickets. None of you guys reached out. Don't care about free speech. When I was kicked out, Margot, you didn't even walk out the meeting like you usually do out the front door. You walked out the back with some escape route like a darn coward. The real kicker is your relentless, pathetic war on free speech. You banned the American flag and the fucking Constitution from these meetings. Seriously, Joe, how the fuck can you even justify that didn't happen? People were dragged out for holding symbols of democracy, and you sat there like spineless, yes, little men. Are we getting that, First Amendment attorney? Joe, you're going to apologize? Was the flag banned? Was the Constitution banned? Was masks banned? Was I banned from speaking? Was I? Was my First Amendment rights violated here in these chambers for talking about an incident that happened right over there? I think so. I think members of the public would agree to that as well. But none of you guys can really seem to figure that out. It's okay to talk about things that happen here. Here. But I'm not allowed. So if I played the minutes of the meeting or read the minutes of the meeting, I would be kicked out for that. That's fucking crazy. That's insane. So the next meeting, watch out.
Joel?
Bill, Council President?
Yes.
Like to comment?
Sure.
We've been doing this for, I don't know, 3 years now. I do believe rights have been violated in this council chamber over and over. Unfortunately, it's not, what we're getting from legal is that it's not, okay? I tend to, I agree with the speakers, okay? I'm one person here. I'm not allowed to speak when they go to bring you out. I'm only allowed to speak at certain times. If you make a comment, I can speak. I can make a comment at the end of the meeting, I can speak. If there's a resolution, I can speak. Otherwise, I myself am out of order. I'm not council president, so council president is ultimately the one that decides who leaves and who goes and who stays, and it's strictly up to her. I know that there have been, what do we call those, tort claims? Of which, to be quite honest with you, a tort claim to me means that you're going to tell me that you are potentially going to sue me one day. I'll be honest with you, if my rights were violated like your rights were all violated and everybody was in here, I personally would have sued probably 2 years ago. Because I wouldn't just file a tort claim. When I had colleagues that were trying to silence me, I told them that I would sue them. And you understand this, it's not an animosity to sue someone. It's just a disagreement of ideas, right? To me, like, it's not a threat when you say you're gonna sue someone. You have a disagreement of ideas, and it's the way that in the civil society, you settle those things. So you sue, you go to court, some judge makes a decision, and if you don't like it, you can appeal it. It's really a pretty good system overall. I wish people would use it more instead of taking it as a threat, because I don't look at it as a threat. And I myself have been sued, and it's a pain in the neck when I got to hire an attorney. I prefer to go in myself, and, well, I go in myself and I lose sometimes because I'm not an attorney and don't know the right time to put evidence in. But seeing Christo, someone that has no legal experience whatsoever, he keeps on being successful. So, I guess there is opportunity for just a regular working man to, be able to be a success at this. I'm sorry if you were cut off. I apologize that on behalf of the council. But like I said, I'm just one person here. I think if we had a different administration, things would be different. You can tell different towns treat things differently. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, council members. Myself, Tirupati. I'm from Calvert Avenue, 5 Calvert Avenue. I'm representing Parag, Amal, and Abhishek, so Patil. We are representing one of the issues there. First, I would like to thank you, Mr. Patil. He's putting a lot of effort behind this to come to some resolution. It is one of the, I think, agenda topics that he would like to present. I just saw that. Thank you very much. And our concern is, I'm talking about the Grove Calvert Avenue. There is a S junction. There were multiple accidents, which is a public safety issue, which we would like to address. At the same time, also need to consider the neighbors. So what's the problems that we have? So there was a traffic study was conducted in, I think, 2024. And what was the traffic study result? And nobody knows. And then again, there was a re-order of that traffic study, and why that new order is submitted, what is the result of it, don't know. And is there any bias in the traffic study which was conducted before? And so there were no outcomes. Especially based on some understanding, like based on gossips or whatever it is came out, understood that there is leaning towards to the traffic signal that's causing some problem, or maybe the speeding signal. So there are multiple issues. So to address this, we as a neighbors have some of the issues. Like if we install a traffic lights or some of the solution because of that cross junction, there could be a driveway blocks, and how we are addressing those. And there could be the JFK hospital is within just like a half a mile of it. On the Grove Avenue is the first road that is addressing that ambulances. And if we put a traffic signal, how much is the problem going to cause for the safety issues? The ambulance is not reaching on the time, what kind of problem it has. And so these kind of issues, are these considered as part of the traffic report or not? And if you see, I think the recent traffic report says about the accident during the school hours, but there were none in recent, because during the school hours, there is a traffic, like a cross guard, like a deputed there, and she's taking care of that, and there were no accident. But like most of the accident happens like, the school hours. So how those are addressed. So again, I really thank Mr. Padil about taking care of this issue and addressing. And we would really wanted to consider all our inputs also, the neighbors' inputs on this, like what is the resolution and how this is impacting and what kind of the solutions that we are providing. Example, like our opposite house, she's like almost like a 95-year-old, and husband is also. Like if there is some emergency situation and ambulance has to come and take it, and if the roads are blocked with the signals and all, how those will be addressed. So these are the things that I would like to bring into topic. Once again, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir.
Council President.
Yes, Councilman Brescher?
Is there a way that you could form a committee, right? This has been an area, Councilman Patil's been talking about this forever. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't know how many more times we can talk about it, to be quite honest with you. I read the traffic study, okay? There are options, but if there was a committee, and the committee also had residents on that committee, that they could look at that traffic study and then make a recommendation overall for what the community there is looking for, because it's gonna affect your property. If you put a light, right, they're gonna encroach, they're gonna make it bigger, you're gonna lose property, you're gonna feel like you live in a commercial industrial zone if you're one of the people right around it. But there were other options in that traffic study. You could always close off the one part of Calvert. If you closed off the one, I don't know if it's east or west, the one going towards Stephenville. If you close that off, those people are just using that as a cut through, okay? To avoid going down Oak Tree Road or coming back around the back way. But they could then, that traffic would be diverted and they could make a left or right and it's a safe junction, right? So I believe that was even one of the options in that traffic study. So by having the residents put into, I mean, we'd all like it safer. I know Councilman Patil would just like it safer overall for all of us. But you're taking into account the residents that work with them also. Do you think you could form a committee and then they could make a recommendation and say to the administration, you know, we don't want a light, we want a closed road, or whatever that outcome might be?
Is there not already a process in place going forward with this, in the aftermath of this traffic study?
Yes, I didn't want to interrupt Councilman Brescher. So I did receive the emails and I explained to the residents, and having received their petition, that our engineering department is putting together a letter that's going to go out to the residents. We'll get their input. So that is the formal process that we're going to be, that is in place and we're implementing. And so we're just in those moments of drafting a letter to the affected residents.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess it works. It scares me when we say we're going to send it to the engineer, because an engineer overall, I haven't met an engineer yet that wouldn't recommend a traffic light. But there were other alternatives that was in that traffic study that to me were probably more viable and something that the community would prefer. So that's my only concern.
But those alternatives will also be addressed with the residents that would be involved. Am I correct? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Council President.
Very good. Yes.
I think I support the councilman and his committee ideas. However, I think he could take a straw poll without having to have a committee meeting, and it would still be brought to the administration's attention, and it would still have to go through the public safety process. So it's unavoidable that even if this chamber had a committee and we sat down as residents and electeds, not public safety officials or engineers, we could agree, some yes, some nay, and it would still have to go through this process. So I'm not trying to avoid or not support the councilman's idea, but it's just another layer of meetings that just are unnecessary. I think looks like they're getting on it right now, and I'm quite certain that council members will put pressure on them, is what our job is, and we'll see what happens from there. Thank you, Council President.
Well, Council President, hey, I'd like to just comment on that. The difference between myself and my council colleague, let's just get that. I would meet with you. I would find out what you were looking for. I would then take that to the administration and ask them to do it. That's not what happens here in Edison. Pay attention. We had Jackson Avenue. The people were complaining. The administration came up and said, we're going to make the road wider. We're going to move the tractor trailers closer to your home so they could drive faster down your street. It was almost passed in this body, except that I stood up and I asked how many council people went down there and talked to the residents. So we held it off for a little bit. I went down and talked to 20 residents. There's only like 23. 95% of them didn't want to do the plan of the administration, okay? And when the administration got that back, then they did stop. But that we should never have went that far. You know, that's what I'm saying. You should be part of the solution. It is not just government doing what government wants. And that's where myself and my colleague differ. You know, he would just allow the administration to do whatever they please. And at the end of the day, you're going to come up here complaining like we heard about the bamboo. You know what I mean? And that's later on. Let's nip it in the bud, do it now. And that's where myself and my council colleague differ. But thank you.
Yeah, Council President, I applaud his efforts, but if he needs an excuse to have a committee to meet with a resident, then he can have one, and I'll help you with that after the meeting. And as far as the Jackson Avenue, we didn't even have the votes to pass it. 4 of us were against it from the get-go, so it's a poor example. But if he wants to, you know, to talk, he's welcome to his great opinion. One of the smartest guys, some people know. And hey, I can meet with you tomorrow if you'd like. I don't need a committee. Feel free to reach out to the clerk's office and we'll make an appointment.
Council President,
Yes.
I just want to say, Tirupati, if you can wait after the meeting, I would like to speak to you offline. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's moving on. Joel?
You're going to get yelled
I
at
didn't
now.
even say the mayor's.
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. I have a question about Edison's affordable housing obligation.
Can you go into the microphone again, Joel, please?
I have a question about Edison's affordable housing obligation and how we're planning to meet it, and maybe I can get some answers without provoking any insults from anyone. So I'd like to know. I'd like to know what Edison is doing. So the Department of Community Affairs assigned to Edison a prospective obligation of 727 units, which means at a 20% set aside, we're looking at least 3,635 new units. Now, on the January agenda, there was a resolution where Edison calculated its prospective obligation at 682 units. It was a reduction of 45 units, but that resolution was never adopted. So now it looks like Edison just is not responding to the obligations of the amendments to the Fair Housing Act. So I'd like to know what, if anything, Edison is doing to reduce its fair housing obligation to a reasonable number. If the answer is we're not doing anything, we're just going to see what happens when there's a builder's remedy lawsuit. Okay, that's the answer. I think it's unacceptable to the public. If we are doing something, the public has a right to know just what it is that Edison is doing to deal with this fair housing obligation, such as other municipalities have done. I'd also note that the amendment to the Fair Housing Act set a deadline of the end of June for municipalities to adjust their zoning ordinances to provide for the locations for the affordable housing. Where does Edison stand with that? Okay, I have another question regarding the mayor's trip to Chicago for the Democratic National Convention. We were told that he acknowledged that that was not an official use of police personnel. He brought 4 police officers with him, that was not proper, and he pledged to reimburse the township. Ostensibly, the money was coming from campaign funds, so clearly it looks like the trip was a political trip and that the presence of the police was not a legitimate security detail. So will the council be, well, first of all, has the council received verification that reimbursement in full has been made? Has documentation been presented to the council on that? And will the council be investigating our public safety director's misuse of police resources for what are personal or political trips. I also have to ask about the Edison illuminator. The last illuminator, well, the question is really, can anyone think that this is not a political brochure that was sent out at public expense? This does not glorify the township of Edison. This just glorifies the mayor so that he can have a photo op with political celebrities. I don't think anyone, and I hope no one on the council would consider this legitimate use of taxpayers' money. This does not promote anything about the township of Edison or what's happening in Edison. And finally, my question is pertaining to the conservation easement for 110 Clive Street. Is it the intention of the council to approve the ordinance for the township to acquire that easement? Are we just delaying it, or is the township now backing off on acquiring a conservation easement for what's known as the Pond House?
Thank you. All right. Let's start with the affordable housing status. Counselor, can you?
Yeah, the last time I addressed this issue with Mr. Bassoff, I was accused of being rude to you, sir, because I said that you were lying. And the reason why I said that you were lying, and I'm sorry if this offends you, is that you and I took time to meet with you so that we could go through this.
15 seconds on a buffet line.
Sir,
okay?
Sir, you're out of order.
Okay. Are you done? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Are you done accusing me of lying?
Sir, you need to sit down. You need to sit down. Please sit down.
Okay, but
Please sit down. No, please sit down. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. So, yes, I was accused of being rude because I said that you had lied, Joel, because I had met with you and we were at the mayor's state of the township. You had asked me about the issue. I had detailed the strategy that we were using to fight the affordable housing number that had been set by DCA. It's as I said to you then, as I said at the last meeting, as I'll say again, the administration believes that the number that was put out with DCA far exceeds what is possible with regards to developable land and the affordable housing number that was set by DCA. It is not a reasonable number. It is not a realistic number. And we believe that the best way to challenge that number is through the prior process. We have immunities through June, and then we will file instead of filing a number and then a plan, we will file a comprehensive action to continue to have the immunities that we have currently. So you know this because we talked about it, and I mentioned it at the last meeting. I'm surprised because it sounded as if you hadn't heard what I said last time when you got up today. Maybe you missed it. I'll hold the possibility that's the case. But we do have immunity. We are not subject to a builder's remedy lawsuit, and this administration will continue to challenge the numbers set by DCA as being unreasonable. And that's the position of the township when it comes to the affordable housing number set by DCA. The administration does not want to be dictated to by the state when it comes to an affordable housing obligation. We want something that makes sense. That's what I said last meeting. That's what I'll say again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Council President, can I ask the attorney a question about this?
Sure.
A little just confusing. So the state originally said that we had 700 units, right? Something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then I was told by your firm that we were going in at like 640 or whatever it was. It was less, in the 600. So I know it was less. And then we ended up pulling it. Is the intention to make it a lot less, a little bit less? Or let me ask you this, and here's my question. Right now, we can't get sued by a builder for builder's remedy. That would be correct, right?
Correct, yes.
But if we pass that, then we could. Like if we would have passed it that night.
Yes.
Then the builders could come in at this point then and then sue us.
They could challenge our number.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So what I'm looking at is there's an election. Let's push it off till June. And then in June, you're going to find out where the administration is going to be building these 600 or 700 units, which might be conglomeration of the, who knows, golf course, we don't know yet. But let's not bring it up during the election time. Just simply the timeline and how it lays out, you just have to see how it's played out. But that is your answer. Thank you.
He also asked about the mayor's trip to Chicago with regard to legitimate security detail. Is there proof of the reimbursement? And is this a misuse of resources? Can somebody speak to this? Is anyone?
No one from the administration will
Well,
speak.
I'll tell you. I mean, I'll tell you, I've spoken to people throughout the state. Everybody thought it was wrong. I spoke to judges. They all thought it was wrong. His election fund doesn't show him paying it back to the town, which has to now question whether we got legitimate documents from the administration. Without the Attorney General looking into something like this and having them come in to actually do it, on the onset, yes, it looks like it's a cover-up, and the funds weren't paid back. Not unless somebody that's neutral can come in there. In fact, I would ask that the JIF come in and look, because the JIF would probably be part and parcel of a lawsuit moving forward. So our attorney should probably ask the JIF to actually look into all the evidence. That would be it, Council President.
And then 110 Clive. I think, Mr. Bassoff, that is self-explanatory, that that we are looking, this is about the whole conservation aspect of things, and we just, so this is going forward, but we just need to get all these issues with the conservation aspect in place. So this is going forward. It's not, I've been wondering, I originally had that on my discussion points. I've been wondering too, as you know, you and I both are like just a block away from there. And this it seemed like this was 2 years ago, I believe, that this was approved to go to this developer, and it continues to grow and overgrow and have litter and all of that. So I'm as anxious as you are to see this move forward. So thank you. Next, Liz.
Council President, just a point of order. Would our counselor be coming back? Because some of us might need to take a break, and that would break up the quorum.
I believe he is, I believe he's in.
He's been back there for quite some time.
Okay.
Well, he came out and left again.
He came out and left?
Left?
Then can we take a break in the meeting so we can go to the restroom?
Can,
1, 2, 3, 4.
If you can't get him back?
I understand, sir. I understand. Marlena, can you do me a favor and just check to see if he's in there and coming back? Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Liz.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I know the weather has been not very cooperative this spring, but I was wondering if there's an update on the pavement at the North Edison baseball and softball parking lot. I haven't had a chance to go in there yet, but I did bring it up last year and was hoping that it would have been done this year, but I don't know what the status was. So that's the first item. The second item is I've been hearing really great things about the Mr. Fix-It program in town, and somebody had asked, they knew Mr. Fix-It wouldn't do it, but they wanted to know if there was any kind of programs in town for seniors that need help with sidewalk repair. And I didn't have an answer, so I figured I would ask tonight. And the third one is, made me sit down before, but I just wanted to bring it up. And I thank you for making me sit down, because I was a little upset when I got up the first time. So now I'm a little more calm. And my concern was when the lawyer had responded to Mr. Brescher regarding why the two council people weren't here, they had asked that they couldn't make this meeting, could those items be postponed? And it was agreed upon. But I think back to a time not too long ago when there was another item on the dais where you personally had asked if something could be postponed because you had a prior engagement. Now, I don't care if it's you or Mr. Patil or anyone at that point, but if it's not allowed for one person, that being an excuse, I don't think it should be for anyone. The agenda should have been adjusted before it was put on paper. So just understanding that, I guess that was what got me. One time it was okay to postpone and another time it wasn't. So if that's the case, then just rearrange your agenda accordingly. And if I could just get the answer, and he's smiling. I'd rather see a smile than a smirk.
Okay, any more questions? No. Okay, all right, so I can tell you that the North Edison baseball parking lot that has the parking lot, it's not repaved, but it's been patched, it has been patched over. It has been, all of the potholes have been repaired. All right, I don't know, do you know, Sonia, where it stands in terms of being on the list for repaving?
I believe that may be a next year item.
Okay, yeah, I was there for the opening on April 9th, I think it was, and it's much better than it had been. What was your second item? The second item? Yes. The Mr., is there a Mr. Fix-It kind of thing for sidewalk repair?
There is not, but I can certainly take that idea to the administration.
Okay, all right, very good. And I don't know if it was I'm not sure if it was a question with regard to postponing or tabling one thing, not a question, just a comment. Okay, thank you. All right. Anyone else on this side? Joe?
Joe Romano, Edison, New Jersey. I'm also a Board of Ed member. I'm so proud of the young ladies that were here. They actually heard something about it's we the people, it's not you the people. It's not us the people. It's all of us the people. They really care about the environment. Number two, Councilman is missing, but I'm quite sure he'll hear about it. The plastic fields, I 100% agree with him. In fact, we got a red baseball field and a couple other fields. The fact of the matter is I actually, in 2007, if you want to go back and check, when the county wanted to take the fields over, but they would get to use it. And I said no. They said we would, they would actually put plastic fields in, and we said no. But when I wasn't on the board, they put plastic fields in. It's all right. Number two, I've heard a lot about traffic and stuff, and I wish people would learn how to drive. I mean, that's basically what it is. And those signs that are octagon, I mean, that's stop sign, if you didn't know. Number two, like when there's two lines in the road, that means you can't pass. That means that you can't pass on the right, on the curb, but you can't pass on the other side either. So I don't know what, I don't know what the police department can do about that. I really don't know, because if you knew about the yellow lines and the octagon sign and the triangle sign, I mean, but you can drive a leased car and wreck it, I guess. I also heard people talk about, honestly, I think we just have to remember something. It's we the people. And to be perfectly honest, at the end of the day, we all have to talk together. Now, Sir, I promise you, I will find out what happened in front of John Adams School. I will promise you that. You see, I wish we could just talk. That's our problem. Just be able to talk to one another. And the plastic fields, you could actually plant grass, and it would be a nicer process. But guess what? We have people on the other side too. They want this or they want that or want the other. All of you, remember this. It's we the people. It's the people from the Board of Ed that give their time up to make sure that it's run well. It's people that work in the township or sit on a dais. You give up your time. People don't realize that it's we the people. It's us. It's just not this or that or the other.
Thank you.
Thank
Joel.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Joyce?
Joy Ship Freeman, Edison, New Jersey. Some of these people was complaining about getting thrown out of the meeting because they brought a flag or they talked. I got thrown out for less. I asked for clarification, I got thrown out. So y'all take it as an honor to be thrown out for at least doing something. Now, I was thinking about it. You know, our greatest generation, Red Ellis and other people who fought hard for us to have freedom of speech, not to have our time taken away, not to be destroyed, not to always cut short. I never wanted to be an authoritarian government, never wanted to be in that, because I think that doesn't give people true democracy. It's very sinful. And as I spoke, as I listened to the young women back there from J.P. Stevens, it makes me think of Jane Townsend. See, everybody up here gets paid top dollar. When I came to council meetings, they might have made $600 or whatever, but they were great citizens and great council people. And they weren't bobbleheads. You had an opportunity to talk to them and change their mind. They just didn't come out and say, oh, okay, we're all gonna go with this. We're all gonna go with this, all right? You had a lot of good things you had with them, all right? And then, very sadly, but I think that with bonding, was putting us in this huge debt, okay? Because maybe everybody else is okay. Because maybe they got the extra money to play. And I know the township people, y'all, you make great money. So maybe you're okay with that, okay? And the problem that bothers me is that some of them have processing problems. Because I'm saying something about something in particular, why are you taking it personal? Okay? Why are you taking it personal? You're making extra money, you're making overtime, but guess what? We're not making all the extra money. And that's why I say at all that they should put a law in the state of New Jersey that before you can get gobs of money in your town and take care of y'all little bosses and stuff, you should have to put it through a referendum like the school does. If you had to put stuff through a referendum, we would have had the water by now. We would have had the water first instead of all the little party stuff. We would have had it first because everybody in this town would have voted for that. So we need to change government so that we can do it the right way. Because people sitting up spending other people's money, it's not a good look for us, okay? Because you're supposed to be the shepherds of the money. Every time I turn around, I'm looking at the paper, oh my God, they're getting ready to raise some more taxes on us. They're going to the state and say, come on, let's spend, okay? Because we make a lot of money, okay? You can do 1,000 senior grants, but you can't stay here if you can't afford the taxes. You can't stay here. So do all the grants you want. Everybody got to leave because they won't be able to enjoy anything. And number 3, I would just like to know that on the 3rd floor, I think it's disgusting that our young people are not their art is not being displayed. And last but not least, I wanted to ask a question. Is our administrative assistant, who makes over $100,000, getting her college tuition paid? You know, and then I wonder, is the mayor getting his college tuition paid? Like, who's paying all these people's tuition? I'm just curious, all right? And I'm very involved with the state, the commission. So if you want to tell me a story, what I learned back in the day, and Bob Deal will tell you, you know the answer to the question before you answer it. Thank you. Before you ask it.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Anthony?
Anthony Deamron, Wiley Ave. First of all, these meetings, the no back and forth is, these are radical policies. They really are. And what I'll say is, over the last 3.5 years, this council has lost patriots of this town that have been coming to these meetings for years, decades, some of them, that don't come here anymore. So it's not because they disagree with you, it's because of the way the council meetings are run. We're coming to a point where pretty soon this podium, you don't need them anymore. You're just gonna have to write your questions down, submit it, and you guys will answer it. So to me, we're going the opposite way, and it's really quite sad. Let me move on. You know, I drove down. I happened to be in the area. I went past the Jets field. I don't know if any of you guys have been down there, but I don't know how the mayor could sit and tell parents and tell residents of this town that this facility is going to be ready by August. It is nowhere near completion. The side of it is not. It's not even fully. The sides are not even fully connected. I'm not a construction expert. I am not, but there is no way that this project. All right. First of all, he originally said it was going to be $5 million. I was just looking at the article when I was sitting down with the original article when it first came out that they were going to do the new Jets field. $5 million. You think? I mean, I don't know where that number came from. There is no way that number was a legitimate number. It almost kind of seems like he just threw the number out there just to build some support and then do a bunch of change orders later on. That's where we're at. But this facility is no way going to be completed in August or by the fall. And if it is, it'll be a damn miracle. It looks like it was just started in December. That's what it looks like. If you told me it was started in December, I would say, hey, you guys are in good shape right now. But it's sad. And you know what? And then I look at Stelton. Now, Stelton, if you want to make it just for comparison reasons, all right, Cranford did the same thing for their rec center, all right? Their rec center, which you could play baseball, lacrosse, softball, tennis, all these different sports. They renovated theirs for $3.2 million. That's it. And it was done in a relatively, I think, a short amount of time. I think it was about a year it took them to do that. $3.2 million. They had one change order. So I don't know what the problem here is. I think so and speaking of liars, I think honestly, if there's any liar in this whole conversation, it'd be the mayor, to be quite honest with you, because he's deceiving parents. And regarding the Jets field, back to the Jets field, he promised parents that it will be ready by, I believe, 2020, 22, whatever it was, 22. That's when he thought it was. Those parents, their children are not even going to be able to use the facility. It's quite amazing. And you know, I hear all this back and forth, all this other stuff. These are real problems. You drive to that Jets field, there was, I think, 3 people working when I was there. And the parking, where are these people going to, once you build the facility, and if you want the facility to generate revenue, where are you putting everybody? Where are they going to fit the parking? The parking lot there is a disaster. I'm sure they're going to be repaved, but it's tiny. It's not going to host. You're not going to be able to hold that type of volume for the type of events that you probably want to have there. So that's all I had. But I do want to wish everybody a happy Easter on a light note. So enjoy your Easter, and thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
And Passover. Yes, happy Passover as well.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else from the public? Okay, can I get a motion to, oh, sorry, Russ?
Russ Azzarello, Skylar Drive, Edison. Pertaining to safety concerns and safety issues, Councilman Brusher made a good point about having volunteers or Edison residents in certain areas that are affected with high traffic and high accidents to be involved and to offer their input and their suggestions. We do live in certain towns, certain parts of the town. We do work in parts of the town or the whole town. So who's better qualified than the residents that live there, that work there, that could add positive input and suggestions? So that also pertains to traffic, that pertains to accidents, that pertains to anything pertaining to what's in that area that people could bring up to a council member that could then bring it to the council meeting. So the second thing I like to say is we need to go back from 4 minutes to 6 minutes. Edison is growing, high traffic, high population. We're encouraging businesses. We're encouraging multi-units. There's a lot going on. 4 minutes is not enough time to speak. You know, not everybody's going to use the 6 minutes. They're going to use 3, 4, 5, but they should have that option. I also, the last meeting, I brought up several questions towards the end of the meeting. I don't need the answer now. You can give it to me later after my 4 minutes is up. Pertaining to Stelton Community Center, Stelton building on Plainfield Avenue, which I'm curious, why would you pave and fix the driveway and parking lot and also the sidewalk before you do anything to the building? In my free opinion, it would have been cheaper to knock the building down and start over and work out. Fix the building inside and out, then the parking lot, then the sidewalk, unless the sidewalk was a safety hazard. The Edison Jets, I'm all for the kids. I've coached 4 sons in Edison boys baseball, Pop Warner football. When I moved here, we played on whatever field, whatever the condition of the field was, which was pretty good because of the volunteer hours and whatever the township also contributed. But you know, I'm all in favor. But when you go from $5-6 million budget and you're exceeding it by another $5-6 million, there's something wrong. We need oversight, and there needs to be somebody held accountable for this, for the extra expense. When is the facility or Central Avenue facility going to be completed? What about the Toth building, the Toth facility on Idlewild Road? There's a lot of other projects that haven't been completed or haven't even been started yet. When will, you know, I did question about the Toth building, the senior center, the Central Avenue. You know, if I could get some answers after my speaking time. Also, the Veterans Memorial on Stony Road and Route 27. I believe there was a matching grant to fix up that center, the Veterans Center, and this May we're going to have a Memorial Day celebration at that location that you do have every year. When is the project going to be started? Will it be completed by Memorial Day? That's about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Russ. All right, let's see if we can get to the questions. The question was about the Stelton building. Why was a sidewalk repair parking lot before rehabbing the building? I don't know anything about construction, so do you have any insight on this?
I think you mentioned safety concerns and exactly what they were. We were addressing any safety concerns.
Okay, all right. And then grouped together here, Toth Senior Center and the Veterans Memorial Grant, asking about essentially when these will be done or these will be implemented.
So we just received the final report for the Toth Center, so our engineers reviewing it for next steps.
Okay. And the Veterans Memorial Grant, do you know anything about that?
If you could just clarify that.
I think so Russ, I think you'll have to just ask that offline when the meeting ends, okay? All right, thank you, sir. All right. Any other questions from or comments? All right.
Motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Second, okay. That's an all in favor, right? All in favor? All right, okay, very good. From the council member to the planning board, well, that's, yeah. Wait, John is back? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. All right, moving to the council committee reports, starting with you, Councilman Coyle.
Thank you, Council President. We have a Finance Committee meeting coming up shortly and a Public Safety meeting. We'll report when they're completed. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me, gentlemen, Joe and Tom, thank you. Okay, moving to Councilman Patel.
We had a open space meeting on April 3rd at the council chambers. We discussed Stephenville Parkway and the next steps to get the bike paths. And hopefully, once we have a preliminary, we would like to set up a meeting with the local residents to take their inputs. Another topic of discussion was Fairmont and Oak Tree Road. There's a plot of land that open space is discussing as to what to do with it. A couple of ideas being thrown around are badminton, chess tables, which could also be used for carom and benches. And again, once we have a fixed date, we're hoping to have a meet and greet with the residents. And I was hoping, I'll discuss this during the discussion items, to have the administration send out communications to the local residents to set up that meeting so that we can have a brainstorm to figure out exactly what the residents are looking for to be built in that area. And that'll be it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Patil?
Thank you, Council President. I will be brief, but let me start with the first one. The Calvert Grove traffic study report, the next steps. It's almost like 2+ years, and I'm still counting. I know the first step was the traffic unit did the study. The recommendations were implemented, like the bigger stop sign, zebra crossing, many things were done, small things. And as also this council supported 25 miles an hour speed restriction that side. Then that didn't really help. It did help, but it didn't resolve the situation. Then we did the third-party traffic study, which took close to 6 months. There are several recommendations. There are various residents are discussing internally what best fits for them. And I think it was a good idea by the council colleague to have some sort of a committee that will encompass council as well as the residents in that neighborhood that would really drive the discussion and come back with the recommendation. What I hate to see this is, again, going back to engineering department, again, the study clearly recommends putting the lights there, which is not preferable for many residents there. So again, we are going through the same hop there, sending the information or maybe letter to the residents. I don't know how many of them will really read it, how many of them will really respond it. It would have been nice if we can had that subcommittee who would reach out to the residents in that neighborhood, take their feedback and bring that report back to the administration and take the further steps. But again, I will let the administration drive the way you want. But hopefully we will have some sort of I would say the output from your effort in a month or so. So that would help. Because we can't keep waiting for another 6 months for more accidents to happen there. My next thing was on the Sage Architect. I think we went to the closed door session. I'm not going to talk about the litigation, but we were supposed to come back with some sort of information.
Is this a committee? These are committee reports.
Oh, there's no committee report there.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, as for myself, animal shelter report, this was from March. There were 11 dog adoptions, 20 cat adoptions, 4 dog redemptions, 1 cat redemption. Current cats, this was again as of March 16, current dogs 17. There was a Love by the Pound event done, I think it was last Friday through last Monday, so that the people who wanted to adopt would pay the amount that the animal weighed. And there were several adoptions. I think there were at least 2 dog adoptions, and might have been 2, somewhere between 2 and 4. All the puppies are now adopted. And there was at least 1 cat adoption, so that was a very successful event. Cultural Arts Commission was on April 8th, last week, and so we are looking for the appointment or reappointment for terms that ended on March 13th. Let's see, looking at Oak Tree and Plainfield Road and Talmadge Road and Route 27 and Wood Avenue and Evergreen and Roosevelt Park for mural. These are addresses that we're looking at to put some murals. We need the specific address for the mayor to contact the businesses and more places to present to the mayor as soon as possible. For art on PSE&G boxes, Kathleen Carlucci spoke to Michelle Sudakar, who's on the commission, and Pat Coyle directed this to you, Sonia. Sonia, did you get a call about the PSE&G boxes? About the trying to secure them for painting?
I don't believe I got a call, but I can certainly check my emails.
Okay, all right, yeah, then we need to get that going. The jazz event, the Jazz Festival, which we had agreed finally on September 6th, and it's a firm date. I just found out today that whereas it was supposed to be held at the Senior Center, and that would have been a really good location for it, it's not available on September 6th. So I believe we're still on for September 6th. We now have to find an alternative venue. So that just kind of puts a crimp in things. Let's see. Finally, so Edison Arts Society, I had proposed to the commission about the possibility of using the gallery, which is not always used. There are not always people who are applying for it. And for the time being, since they are no longer allowed to display on the 3rd floor, if we could maybe have them use the gallery for a period of time. Some discussion went on back and forth about how the gallery is supposed to be used, and we do only want Edison residents to be displaying there. There was some discussion about would we have art exhibits that would have to do with Edison, or can they just be Edison residents who are submitting the art? And so that's to be continued. I do have to say that I agree with those who have commented about the way the 3rd floor is being used. And the mayor has the purview to decide what goes there. For myself, I think it's really a shame that the Edison Art Society was so unceremoniously taken out of there. It was a great space for them, and I'm hoping that there's some reconsideration. The other places, if not the gallery, would be the libraries. I need to speak to Alan Kleiman about that, the director of the library. But I think right now, the Edison Art Society is homeless, and that should not be. And I would really like to see something go forward so that they have a home again, preferably back on the 3rd floor. There's also some talk about meeting with the East Brunswick Symposium. J.P. Stevens music teachers are involved with them, so we will ask them to be a part of ours. I think this woman, Cheryl, from the May, will be invited to our next meeting, which is May 6th. The June exhibit in the gallery will be an interactive EMS display. We're also looking to see if we can get a 501c3s in order to be able to apply for a raffle license for fundraising. And so, as I said, the next meeting is May 6th. Councilman Brescher, did you have any committee reports?
Yes, we had the The library, I didn't make it to. I don't know what's going on there. They changed the logo, doing a couple things, I guess, but had a veterans meeting, but we're waiting on the administration. We met with Sonia and Bob Deal. We had a bunch of items we were looking to get done for the memorial. They were gonna review it and get back to us. We really haven't heard anything. I know that Sonia just emailed back saying that she would check with DPW. I would hope that well before the next meeting, right, that we would have a full report, because I don't want to go through whatever the items are and then explain to the veterans how it's been a couple weeks kind of thing. So if we can just get that report maybe within the next, well before the next meeting, by midweek next week, DPW should be able to tell you what he can do and what he can't. So if we can just get that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. Moving on to points of light. Anyone have points of light? I would like to wish everybody a happy Passover, a happy Easter, and for those who celebrated Eid, I hope you had a blessed Eid. So now discussion items. All right, he's not, no, he's not here. I was going to let him continue. Councilman Brescher, the discussion items?
Okay, I know it's like 400 items here, but I'll try and get through some of them. Okay. The COA, I'm going to come back to that at a separate time. Because I received these documents, I was looking at them, I just don't understand how somebody can afford this. And it's going to go into our COA requirements. The low income, where we end up giving money to help people purchase homes. Seeing what we're allowed to give is just, I have some questions. I'll send that over to you, Sonia, and you get me those answers, but I just got that, so thank you. Veterans, right, we talked about that. Grove and New Dover. We have a sign from one of our veterans, Mr. Ulrich, and the sign was run over, and people told me they called to have the sign put back up, but it's been down there for, I don't know, at least over a week, I'd say. But with that sign, I think the location is a bad location. And I'll tell you why. It looks like the truck that hit it also hit the telephone pole. So it might be better maybe to move the sign on the other side of the telephone pole so that they'll hit the pole and the sign will at least still be up. Or move it to the other side of the street. Yes, one of our residents said we got our glossy flyer from the mayor, and the glossy flyer in there, I believe he stated that he improved all of our parks, and I don't know if that's a lie or the truth, but I'll tell you what, there's a park, it's called Polanski Park. We named it after a astronaut that went to our high school. And down in that park, the administration did put a new sign in, which was kind of amazing. Nice new shiny sign you put in. But we still look at the same old basketball hoop that's crooked, was probably put up in the 60s. Our county commissioners said that they would pay for half of all of this. The past mayor had a design to redo everything. Sonia herself said it was on our list to do, and yet our children have nothing. So while our mayor might put that out, it doesn't mean that our mayor doesn't lie. And that's something that I've noticed with him, is that he lies about a lot. I noticed that we have some gazebos over here by the splash park. What are those for?
So what those pavilions are, again, continue to, with regard to our park improvements, they're to be used by residents.
Okay, so they're just out there in the field right now, and that's where they're going to be? That's so like you can rent them, kind of like where we have the senior center?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Oh, okay, yes. Here is a good one. This is a statement going back to, I believe it was 2023. I had a resident ask me if I was actually defunding the police, and I said that would be a joke. The one that was going to defund the police was the mayor. Back in 2023, when they were going to transfer $1 million out of the police department's budget. And I went to see Sonia, and I told Sonia, you can't defund the police. Crime is on the rise. So what they did was they left the money in the budget for the police department, which sounded like a good thing. But at the end of the year, they never expended that money. So while crime was on the rise, we didn't use all the funds available to protect the residents. And those actually are facts. So when we talk about who defunded the police, the mayor and his administration defunded the police. That's why we're not safe. I'll leave that one there. That would be a council president. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Patel?
All right, the engineer is not here, but Brian told me that he was going to be able to get me a bike path map for the whole town. Can you follow up on for me? I think this was supposed to be delivered on December. It's just been, I think, forgotten about. So if he can get back on it and get that done. The second thing, at the open space, we had a discussion of the Stevensville Parkway and the property on Oak Tree. We were discussing how to get in touch with the residents. Is that something the township can help us send out communication? So if we have a date where we can all meet? Okay, I think we will have a date set for May. How long of a leeway do you need to send out the communication?
That's totally up to you. I mean, we can, it's pretty instant when we send one out. So depending how much notice you want to give folks.
I would say about a week or two should be okay.
Sure, just send it over to me and Pat Coyle.
Perfect. And then the last thing, project manager, construction manager. I think the last thing we left off was there was documentation provided with the policy, but the request was I wanted some central person to be responsible for the whole project, and then we never moved forward.
I'm not sure, what project are you referring to, Councilman?
For the project manager, construction manager, there was a policy that was drafted by Brian, and on the feedback I gave back was that, I like the policy the way it's written.
Sure.
But I would like a central person to be responsible for the project. So the way the policy was written, it was still vague as to who will be that central person I can point to, be like, hey, you are responsible for this. So they can take it from A through Z rather than A through B and then pass it to somebody else and then B through C, kind of like that.
Sure. So I know there was a back and forth and exchange of ideas. We have very recently added 2 engineers to alongside with Brian to assist with project management and even overlooking some of the construction inspection. So we have people on staff right now, unless it's project specific, then that would be separate, of course. But we have since then hired 2 people that we feel would be adequate right now to oversee generally whatever project we have in place. That's separate from the major things we're working on.
I'm glad we have extra help, but my point being that if we had a specific project that was a specific amount, in this case I chose arbitrarily 5 million, it wasn't a specific number, but we can change that. But the idea that if we have a specific project, I want one person to be responsible. It could be one of those 3 engineers that we have, but maybe they might not have the skill set for it. Or if we need to hire someone, but again, I need that in a policy that, hey, that says the township, if we have a $5 million project going out to bid, we will have a central person, call it a construction manager or a project manager, that shall be responsible to take it from A through Z. If there's any issue, that will be the point of contact for the council, for the administration, for everybody to see exactly where it is. That person will start out as a project manager initially through the design phase and the architecture phase. Once that project takes construction phase, when it starts beginning construction, they will take on the role of the construction manager, and they will see the day-to-day to ensure that, if there's any permits that are needed, if there's any values to be added through the engineering process. Essentially, one person responsible, especially for a big project. That's my ask.
Yes, and we'll certainly implement that internally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Patil, you can continue.
Yep, I'll continue on that. I'm looking forward for the report or the next step on the Sage Architect. What was we were supposed to come back with a plan, how long it is going to take for somebody else to do it, and what that means. Again, hopefully I can get some information by next council meeting. Clara Barton Emba Avenue Inner Road, linear mileage. Sonia, you did respond to my email, but it says, refer to this ordinance. I'm asking the linear mileage, the utility company damage or roads. If you can please take a look at that. Flooding remediation, this is 6+ years and counting. I know Mr. Deal also knows about this particular area. Stephen will Calvert, Summer Street, JP Stephen, and more of those things. Do we have any plan? My question is, do we have any plan to include in 2025 budget any of the work?
Yes, part of the budget is inclusive, or capital bond ordinance as well,
Perfect.
is inclusive of addressing these issues.
Perfect. Happy to hear that. Status of various projects we heard from the resident as well as from my council colleague, but a quick glance. Toth Center, are we ready to start the work or it is still?
As I just mentioned, I just received the final report from DEP. We're going to take a look at it and then next steps.
Okay. How about the sports building? Are we still track? I know last time you said it's October, November timeframe?
September.
September? Okay.
September, yes.
And we're all still track on that?
Yes, sir.
How about the Stelton Community Center? Did we get the report on that asbestos or some sort of a?
So I believe there's a scheduled meeting to discuss the environmental walkthrough.
Okay, thank you. New Brunswick, Stelton, Plainfield update, that's an intersection. Last time when I asked, I was told that there is a 60,000 square feet warehouse that is being built next to Job Corp. But I do see some construction activities right at that intersection on closer to, I think it's a Wildberry Court or Blueberry Court. There are 2 parcels there. Trees are removed. If you can help to understand what is happening there. I would skip the next 2. Road opening around Grove Avenue. Several roads, they're dug up. I don't know, we don't have engineering department here. It's probably by water.
I believe I sent the full report of all of the different road opening permits, and Councilman Bertram may have received it as well.
Yeah, but what I'm looking is how much escrow deposit we received in lieu of that. Again, I'm talking about Grove. It's a whole separate, I think it's a water.
So you're now asking about the escrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not about the Clara Barton, because that's more, that's a whole different situation. There is some work going on the Baltic Street. I don't know. That road was supposed to be paved. It's very small, couple of 100 linear feet road. But I do see during the daytime, the traffic is stopped. That turn is not allowed. And this is happening last 3-4 days. Do we have the budget hearing date?
Yes, so we have the workshop May 12th and then the meeting on May 14th. That's when the township is planning to present that to the council for adoption. And as you all know, we have scheduled meetings with each council member. So I look forward to all of your questions or concerns.
Sure. All right, thank you. And the last one for the budget, I'm going to send a separate email rather than going back and forth on this from 2022 to 2025, actually. There is a typo on that. Thank you, Council President.
Following up on the budget, the budget situation. I see that this will be covered at the work session of the 12th and the 14th of May. When is the mayor's presentation of this to the public?
I'd have to check with the mayor. That is something that he schedules.
Okay. As soon as you have word on that, it would be helpful to know that. Thank you. Real quick, any news on starting work again on the Ferrante House?
Council President, we mentioned before it would begin this summer.
It's beginning this summer.
Beginning this summer, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right. And one last thing, I'm noticing that the EV charging station outside of Town Hall is out of order, and it's really been out of order for a long time. There's just actually a sign that says out of order, but this has been longstanding. Wondering what the status of that is, and will there be more charging stations added to the complex here?
That is our intent. I will follow up with our interim DPW director with regard to the one in the front. I know the overall plan is actually to repave the entire lot, and there was some work done to the conduit there throughout the entire parking lot. So I want to understand what is the general plan there. But I do understand the overall. Having done the conduit, it was last year, actually our internal electricians did it, and the plan is to add more.
Okay, yeah, but that one that's been there for a long time has been out of order for as long as I can remember. All right, that's all I have. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
You get a second?
Second it.
All right, thank you. This meeting is adjourned, 8:38 PM. See you on April 28th for the work session. Thank you. Good night, everyone.